Okay, guys, I'm Dr. Ravi Kumar. Okay, two master degrees in engineering as well as in management. Okay, with a doctorate in industrial fault diagnosis with the master black belt. A lot of experience. I've done a lot of projects. Okay, worked as a project manager. Currently working as a professor in a technical university in Chennai. Okay, a lot of credentials. Okay, the main thing which connects us is the Six Sigma platform. Okay, so I welcome you all to this Lean Six Sigma training program, guys. Welcome you all. Okay, so yesterday I have seen a lot of things, right? So, up to what level have you seen? You've seen up to this y is equal to f of x, right? Yes or no? Yes, no, nobody is answering. Is everybody able to hear me?
No, sir. No. Yesterday we did learn what is quality, like what is CTQ, critical to quality, and then CTQ tree, what exactly the defect and defectiveness refers to, and then the defects per unit and DPMO, and then variation, operational process improvement, okay, continuous improvement, and what is Sigma. So these are the basic topics that we discussed yesterday, sir.
Okay, process improvement. That is why it's process improvement.
Apart from this, sir, we have learned CTQ tree, diver,
CTQ tree.
DPO, DPMO, and where is the mistake in Six Sigma, CTQ, critical to quality, and without defect, AQL, acceptable quality level, customer satisfaction. This kind of we have learned.
Okay, great. So good to hear that you have learned a lot of new things. Great. So today we are going to extend it further. Somebody is speaking on the background. Please mute yourself. You have to speak on the background. Okay. Guys, if you have to speak to somebody on the background, please mute yourself, then speak. Because there are nearly 44 participants. Your voice might be a disturbance to other participants. So please mute yourself and go ahead and speak. Okay, so that you won't get distracted. Okay, guys. Now, what is this Six Sigma? Already you have learned three of this six. You have known about this metric, right? What is Six Sigma in terms of metric, guys? 3.4 DPMO, right? You know this, right? 3.4 DPMO. What is DPMO?
Defects per million opportunities.
Defects per million opportunities. Already you have calculated this DPMO. Already you have calculated this DPMO. Okay, so you are very clear what is DPMO and what is the impact of DPMO and all this. Okay, and apart from this Lean Six Sigma is also a management technique that it will help the management to make decisions, okay, to change the culture that is existing in the organization, and also to ensure that the growth is continual, not it is an intermittent growth. Okay, so it is also considered as a management, okay, basis approach, management approach. So when it comes to management approach, all the levels in the management have a place to play. All the level in the management has a place to play. See, for example, let us say this is a Six Sigma pyramid. We normally used to call it as a Six Sigma pyramid. So people at all levels, all roles, skills, and all have different levels of entry. Okay, and they can contribute according to their skill set and their roles, their responsibility, their designation. So nobody needs to be excluded. Everybody can be a part of this Six Sigma management approach. So you can include anybody from lower hierarchy level to the top hierarchy. Okay. So for example, you have different levels of belt, right? So let us take this yellow belt. So LOL participants, what is their scope? For example, they may be in the workers level or in the operators level. So they can help participate in the Sigma project meetings. They can help with the administrative tasks. They can meet with the project head of the project and give suggestions, recommendations based on their experience and knowledge they have about the process. So this is the yellow belt level guys scope and responsibility when it comes to the Six Sigma project. What about the green and black belt? See, this green and black belt guys, based on the experience, they can be a leader of the Six Sigma projects. Apart from that, they can help the top management to select the team members. Then they can be a part of the team meetings to arrange them and to lead them whenever it is required and to handle the resource required for meeting the project. They can arrange the resource required for meeting a project by getting approval from the top management, and they can make strong recommendations such or suggestions when it comes to changes in the strategy or in changes in the project scope and all. Okay, so this is the scope of the green and yellow belt guys based on their experience. Then master black belt. See, these guys are important. When it comes to the master black belt, they need to have very good knowledge about the process. Apart from that, they may be in the general manager or in the top level hierarchy. So they have to look at that all the projects which the organization, all the Six Sigma projects which the organization is taking up has an alignment with the company long-term goals. That is called strategic alignment. What is long-term goals? See, the organization may have a 5-year goal or a 10-year goal to reach a particular turnover or a particular rejection rate or particular level after 5 years or 10 years. So whatever Six Sigma project, whatever DMAC project you are doing, must have an alignment with that also. Guys, do you get this? Guys, do you get this or not? Must have
Yes, sir, you're right.
alignment with, yes, must have alignment with that. Then only Six Sigma will contribute towards the growth of the organization. So who has a responsibility of looking over this? It is a master black belt. They have the important responsibility of looking over this. And apart from this, the team performance monitoring and observation has to be done by the master black belt guys. And further, they are responsible for training and coaching whenever the team performance is not up to the level. So this is the scope and responsibility of the master black belt guys. Then comes the champions or the sponsors. See, these guys, they gave the final approval for any Six Sigma projects. Okay, and they are the one who have the final authority in selection of the team members. If they want to change, then obviously then it must be changed. Okay, then they finalize the resources required. Okay, then they regularly conduct toll gate meetings and review the progress. So even though Six Sigma is just looks like a methodology for resolving the problems, actually it has 4 dimensions. One of them is a management approach, which everyone has a role to play. That is how Six Sigma pulls all hierarchy level people and make them commit towards the organizational growth as well as problem resolution. Okay. So this is a Six Sigma as a management approach. So now if you see this, Six Sigma as a philosophy and Six Sigma as a management system. So it helps the organization to focus on the long-term continuous improvement. Okay, long-term continuous improvement. Okay, so how it does? It helps everyone to focus on it. Okay, so the mindset of the people, okay, has to change. The organization has to focus on long-term growth. Obviously, it is a mindset of the people. It is a thinking habit of the people that has to change. That only can bring improvement in the organizational long-term growth. Then most of the, not most, all decisions are not made by experience or expertise, but purely based on data and customer recruitment. That is what Six Sigma focuses on. That is why we say it as a Six Sigma philosophy. Okay. Then obviously the core of Six Sigma is customer satisfaction. Yesterday you might have seen customer effect, pre-request customer identification. Customer recommend identification is the goal for the Six Sigma. Okay, so customer satisfaction is the core of the Six Sigma process. Okay, which will help us to improve the quality. Then finally, it helps all employees. As I said earlier, people in all hierarchy levels are encouraged to participate. Either it may be a white belt or a yellow belt or a green or black or a master black, whomever it may be. They have a role to play in the Sigma project and for the growth of the company. So, along with that management approach, it helps the management, okay, to have a structured process for taking decisions. See, when it comes to Six Sigma methodology, obviously the way you make decisions will change. The decisions are not made in a random way. You have to collect data, you have to analyze it, and you have to ensure that the data fits in a particular level alignment, and then you design everything as a team. So structure management practice is brought into the system in your organization. And most of the time, all the data decision making is done using data. And the data is analyzed using statistical tools. Okay, the statistical features like mean, median, mode, standard deviation, kurtosis, skewness, many features which is required for decision making is extracted and the data is analyzed. Okay, and finally it is used for decision making using statistical. Okay, so decisions are not made based on somebody's intuition or gut feeling or somebody's expertise. No. Okay. So everything is converted into a measurable target. That is what you have learned in yesterday. CTQ. CTQ helps you to convert the unmeasurable, not understandable, unspecific data into a measurable, understandable data, right? CTQ, purpose of CTQ, right, guys?
Yes, no. Correct, sir. It is understanding the customer needs, what exactly customer is looking.
Yes. Now, when you do that, the top management has a data which is a measured one. On the table of the top management, you put the data that is a customer satisfaction is this much. It is not in a intangible manner or not in a some kind of qualitative data. It is a quantitative data, measured data about the performance of the process with respect to customer. Okay, so that is how Six Sigma can be up as a dimension of philosophy as well as a management. Okay, so Six Sigma has 4 phases. One, it is a metric, and another one, it is a management approach, another one is a philosophical approach. Okay, then the important thing which we are learning the Six Sigma is DMAC. That is a methodology. Six Sigma is a problem-solving methodology. So what is DMAC? So in Six Sigma problem-solving methodology, you have 2 methodologies. One is DMAC, another one is DMAT. Just a moment, guys. Sorry, DMAC and DMAT-B. What is this DMAC? What is this DMAT-B? So actually,
Sir,
you can, yeah.
Sir, DMAC is define, measure, analyze, and control.
No need to worry. I will just. We are going to see this DMAC and DMAT-B for the entire session.
Okay.
So no need to worry, Sanjay. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. DMAT means it is for an existing process or product. What is it existing? See, you already have a process in your company running. You may have some defect issues, injection issues. Okay, then DMAT B. If the product or process or system or service, if it is in the development stage, if it is in the design stage, if it is a new product development process, then you can use it for that also. That is called DMAT B. DMAT B means define, measure, analyze, design, and verify. What is it, guys? Define, measure, analyze, design, and verify. But DMAT means define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. Okay, DMAC is for existing, running, operational project or process or product, a system or service, whatever it is. Okay, you have a pharmaceutical manufacturing process going on. Okay, you want to improve the quality of the batches. You want to find out the defects in the process. Go for a DMAC. You are going to develop a new formula. It is in the initial stages. It is in the development stage. So in the R&D department, use DMAC B. Very simple. Okay, so that is how you have to use DMAC and DMAC. Remember, DMAC is for existing, DMAC B for new. Okay, so now we are concerned about this DMAT. Now we are concerned about this DMAC, not DMAT B. We are not going to look into this DMAT B. Okay, so we are going to look into this DMAC alone. Okay, so let us move. So this is what you have seen yesterday. Okay, the Six Sigma is a data-driven technology. What do you mean by data-driven technology, guys? The entire Six Sigma methodology looks into collection of data. That is why it is mentioned as disciplined data. Disciplined data means data must be without errors. Okay, then only the data will be reliable, will be useful, and can be used for making decision making. Can be used for decision making and process improvement. So the Six Sigma is a complete data-driven technology which focuses on making decisions using a highly reliable data. Okay, so it mainly focuses to improve the process performance. What is its main focus, guys? To improve the process performance by decreasing the defects or variations or deviations. So the process performance can be improved only by reducing the defects, which can be reduced by reducing the variations or deviations. Okay, so it focuses on less defects and rework. Obviously, that will lead to better profit and defect reduction. Okay, so if your process is having less defects, if your process is having very less rework, then obviously the capability of a process will improve. Then your process predictability, what do you mean by predictability? That is, if your process is having less failures, you can rely on your process more. The reliability on your process will improve. So obviously that will lead to the consistent outcome. Okay, your process will give you consistent outcomes without variations. So obviously that will lead to happy customers, a lot of happy customers. So this is what Six Sigma focuses on. Okay, reducing the defects. Okay, just that helps you to increase the profit and helps you to increase the consistency of the output. And obviously the reliability of your process will improve, and that will lead to the customer satisfaction. Okay. So Six Sigma focuses on a giraffe process rather than an elephant process. So what is the importance of having different levels of Sigma? See, you might be a bit confused. Yesterday you might have learned how to calculate the DPMO and how to infer the Sigma from that particular DPMO. Yes, guys, they are calculated, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
Yes.
say for example, let us take a company is having a production sigma level of 3. So what is the loss to them? Actually, they are having a defect DPM of 66,807. So what does it mean actually? The loss in revenue will be not the loss in the turnover. The loss in the revenue will be 25 to 40%. Okay, if you go move from 3 to 4, your loss in your revenue will be 15 to 25%. So when you move from sigma level 3 to sigma level 4, the defects will reduce by 90%. See, in sigma level 3, the defect is nearly 66,807. When you move to sigma level 4, your defects reduce to 6,210. So in the meantime, your revenue, your profit increases by 15 to 20%, 25%. Your loss in revenue drops by 15 to 25%. Okay, loss in revenue drops by 15 to 25%. That is, earlier, your revenue, suppose if your revenue is 100 rupees, you are losing 40 rupees because of rejections. Okay, here you are losing only 25 rupees because of rejections. Here, if you go from sigma level 4 to 5, your revenue loss is just 5 to 15%. So you are getting a revenue of 83%. The loss is just 15%. Of course, if you move to sigma level 1, your revenue loss is less than 1%, and your profit is 99%. That is why all companies focus on sigma. Okay. So improving climbing over the ladder of Six Sigma not only improves the rejection of, not only reduces the defects, but it helps you to improve the revenue in an exponential manner. So obviously that will lead to the growth of the company, and the customer satisfaction also improves drastically. Okay, that is why all companies try to move up the ladder of Six Sigma. Okay, so this is just a summary.
Excuse me, that what is that? COPQ? COPQ?
Cost of poor quality. Cost of poor quality.
Okay.
Yesterday you have not learned about COPQ?
No.
No, sir.
No problem.
No, sir.
Cost of?
So you see,
No, sir.
yeah.
Sir, your voice is.
So what do you told? COPQ?
Cost of poor quality. Cost of poor quality.
Okay.
Okay, so the cost of poor quality will come down. So why you are losing the revenue from the profit? Why you are losing the profit? Because the cost of poor quality is eating up your profit, guys. Very simple. So, yeah.
So, sir, one question here. Whatever the 25 to 40% of revenue that is being shown on this graph, so is this related to cost of poor quality, or is this a profit which is increasing here?
Yeah, actually, cost of poor quality, it eats up your profit. Okay. Cost of poor quality is also because of rejections. What do you mean by cost of? You will see what is cost of poor quality in the later sections in the measure phase, so in the define phase itself. See, it eats up your profit. For example, if a project is rejected, for example, you are making a product. The product is rejected by the quality control team. So whether it will be given to the customer or it will be scrapped. Yes, Nataraj?
I'm not getting
Yes,
here
sir.
because the graph title, the screen of this title says sigma level versus COPQ. So here
See, that
sigma
is
level is increasing from 2, 3, 4,
yes,
5, and 6.
Yes, Nataraj,
And
that is what I'm
COPQ,
trying
which
to
axis is showing the COPQ here?
see. That is what I'm trying to explain. See, for example, you are doing a manufacturing process. You are a quality head. Your quality inspector is rejecting a product, and there is no chance for rework. What will happen to that product? Will be
the cost of rework will reduce.
We will scrap
See,
it.
you are rejecting the project. So what will happen? You are rejecting the product. What will happen?
Means
It will
it is
be
getting
scrapped,
scrapped.
right?
The cost will be increasing here.
That is a revenue loss. Obviously, that is a revenue loss. because of poor quality, okay, the poor quality also have a cost. Poor quality also have a cost. That is called as cost of poor quality. So when your rejections are more, your loss because of poor quality is high. Okay, when you are sigma level 3, your COPQ revenue loss will be around 25 to 40%. Okay, it comes because of rejections, because of defects. Okay, it comes because of rejections, because of defections, because of variations. So in sigma level 3, the chance, the probability or the revenue loss will be exactly around 25 to 40% because of poor quality.
No, I agree, but the graph on the screen, when we say sigma level versus COPQ, so as the sigma level increases, COPQ will decrease, correct?
Obviously. See, in sigma
so in that
level
case,
6,
this should be, the graph should be showing the declining mode, right? But it is showing the upward trend, right? That is what I got confused here.
see,
No,
here
but
you can see the
graph. Can I?
just please hold on. Please hold on. Just hold on. Actually, see here, this is the cost of poor quality. See, actually, it is inversely written, right? The cost of poor quality reduction will increase your revenue. Got it, Nataraj? Here, the cost of poor quality is just less than 1%. So that 1% is just the loss in the revenue, and remaining 99% is gained by your process. Got it, Nataraj? So you can see this is the highest bar. How it goes to the highest level, because the cost of poor quality is less than 1% only. And what you actually normally got is you got 60% of revenue. But since you followed Six Sigma process methodology, your cost of poor quality comes down to less than 1%. So remaining 99% goes to your profit. So this is your profit. This building is your profit. Okay, here when it comes to sigma level 4, obviously the cost of poor quality rises to 5 to 15%. Okay, so your revenue goes down by another 5 to 15%. So obviously out of 100 rupees revenue, you are getting 85 rupees. But out of 100 rupees revenue, which you must get, which your process generates, you are getting 99 rupees. Okay, here, but simply because of the process defects, the revenue goes down by 85%. If you still go down, here the revenue goes down by 78%. The revenue goes down by 60%. Got it? So it is connected, the COPQ is connected with the revenue, that is with the profit. And when the sigma level increases, okay, the revenue increases and the cost of poor quality comes down. So this percentage, it shows the cost of poor quality. Yes, Imran, what is your question?
Sir,
Imran?
in the sigma level, yeah. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah.
When sigma level 4 has come to 6.210 defect, sigma level 5
actually,
shows
it is not 6. It is not point. Actually, it is 6,210. 66,807. There is a small dot. Okay.
Understood.
So
okay. So that I have to read that as 6,200.
Yeah. Yes, Nataraj, do you get this? You get this incline, decline?
No, I got it, sir. I got it. But the slide here, the title says sigma level versus COPQ. So as and when the sigma level increases, obviously COPQ is coming down. So the graph should show the declining trend, but here it is showing the upward trend.
This is not a graph. This is not a graph. This is a sigma level versus sigma level and the revenue. You can keep it as sigma level versus revenue.
Okay. So then
Sir,
this title should be
sir,
sigma level versus
trend,
revenue,
not a graph.
COPQ.
Excuse me, sir. This is the trend.
Yeah, trend.
The sigma level is increasing and COPQ will decrease. This is the profit.
But
revenue
the graph
is
is not showing the increasing, right? This is showing towards the profit. Revenue is increasing, but the title says sigma level versus COPQ.
Yeah, right? Sigma level is increasing. Then revenue also the cover up for increasing.
Loss is getting reduced so that.
Yes, Nataraj, whether your company is worried about, Raj, your company is worried about COPQ or revenue?
Sir,
revenue.
I got it. I understood. But the basis on
See,
the title,
that is what you have to show.
Sigma
Even
level
though,
versus COPQ. Yeah.
even though the concern is always about the customer satisfaction, profit, revenue. Okay, COPQ is the indirect cause for the poor profit or revenue. COPQ in the sense the variations, defects, these are responsible for the poor growth. Okay, so with every level of sigma improvement, your COPQ comes down. The COPQ comes down, and see, this is actually the COPQ level. Here you can see the COPQ. This is the first level of COPQ. Okay, this is the loss of COPQ. So sigma level versus COPQ and sigma level versus revenue is understood. But you, as you asked, definitely we can change the heading. Okay, no problem.
Yeah, sir. Got it. Understood. Thank you.
Okay.
Sir,
Okay, guys. So
excuse
now
me.
you know. Yeah.
We can say it the inflation rate also, sir. Inflation, it is increasing.
It's not connected with the inflation. It is not at all inflation. Inflation is the increase in the cost of the resources. We are not speaking about inflation. We are just
Okay, sir.
speaking about the defects, rejections alone.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Manish. Yes, Manish.
Yeah, so my question is, I understood the graph correctly, and I'm convinced of that. Second, question is that why is Six Sigma at level 2, where there are 3 lakh defects? Can't we
We
quantify
don't
that
have.
as a percentage of revenue loss?
See, Manish, we don't have level 2. Yesterday you calculated DPMO.
Yeah.
But what level did you? What is the level of Nestle, Cadbury's? Anybody remember the level of sigma level of Cadbury's gems yesterday? You calculated it. It will be around
It's like
2.5.
3, Sigma level 3 or something like that. Not that.
Yes, around 3 only. Around 3. See, actually, it is a process. It is always about the process effectiveness. Sigma level indicates what is the process effectiveness. That is the number of defects the process is having is indicated in terms of sigma level. We can gradually reduce the defects in the process. That is how you can improve the sigma level. We cannot just like that achieve sigma level 6, sigma level 5. So first we need to know where is our DPMO and what is our sigma level. So we are calculating the process defects. So if it comes to around 3 lakhs, we are saying it is sigma level. If it comes to around 66,000, we are saying it's sigma 3. It is just the indication of your process effectiveness. Okay. It is just the indication. So where we are. For example, after the examinations, every student is given a mark sheet. Some students are getting B grade, some are getting S grade, some are getting A grade, some are getting A++. So what does it indicate? The level of performance, so that they can try to improve to the next level. Okay, it is just an indication. So if your process defects are very minimal, then you can understand your process is going in a continuous improvement path. Okay, and you can try to sustain the improvement, and you can try to achieve better revenue, less COPQ, continual growth, more expansion of the process and all. Got it, Manish?
Agree. Understood.
Okay. So this is also the same short story. Okay, so when it comes to sigma level 6, your defects is going to be very minimal, and your yield percentage is 99.9996. Okay. Okay, guys. Now 6 sigma is a problem-solving methodology. 6 sigma is a problem-solving methodology. What does it mean? Okay, 6 sigma has 5 phases. Okay, for the existing process or product or service. Okay, we have 5 phases: define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. Okay, for example, if you want to define the problem, what you have to do first? See, you are a top management general, you are in the top management, you may be a general manager. Your manager is bringing up a problem to you. When will you
understand and accept there is a problem. You are not,
Know the problem.
for example,
there should be a customer
Understand
noise
the problem.
first, voice of customer.
okay, see, let me give you more important news. Okay, you are not too technically well versed. You are not too technically well versed. Okay, if they are putting in voice of the customer, no, you won't understand anything. So when will the top management guys understand that really a problem exists?
Revenue loss.
When profit is
Revenue
reduced.
Okay, very simple, guys.
You
Very,
have to
you can say
technically strong actually
When
in the
it
problem.
doesn't meet the quality,
see, in the define phase, you have to inform about the problem. So when will you understand, accept there is a problem?
When we
When
have
the
more customer
performance
complaints.
drops.
Okay.
It's a revenue loss.
Sorry?
Production yield will come down.
When there is a
Okay.
revenue loss.
Okay.
when the
Internal
output
rejection
doesn't
more.
when the output doesn't derive what it is supposed to be.
See, what will you do with the? What will you do? You are saying lot of outcome factors. What will you do with them? How will you indicate them?
There is no continuous improvement.
Indicate, represent to the top management. How will you do that?
To analyze the data month on month. Based on that,
Yes, based on that.
We have to analyze where is the problem occurring. For that, we have to fix the solution, like defining, measure, analyze. These tools can be used for fixing solution for that.
Saravanan, we are not going to the remaining 4 phases. Just we are in define. In define phase, you have to define the problem. Okay,
yes,
so
we have
how
to,
will you
based on
inform?
data?
Based on data, okay. How you have to represent the data?
See,
structured data. We should have a structured data or unstructured data. Some data should be available to define.
Example, sir. If we
okay, guys, I don't want to mess up. I don't want to mess up with you. This is quite a
bottlenecks in the process.
See,
so if you have to define a problem, if you have to define a problem,
Sir, suppose that in
express the problem in numbers. You have to express the problem in numbers. Got it, guys? Without expressing
quantify the problem. Quantify the problem.
Yes, that is what I was expecting. If you express the problem in numbers, everybody will be able to understand. See, for example, there are 44 participants in the class. I am conducting a test. I am saying people have not done well in the exam. That means nobody will understand what is their performance. If I said, okay, 25 students have scored above 80, 15 students have scored below 60, 4 students have scored less than 40. If I said, it will give you more information. So by expressing the output, Y is always the output, right? By expressing the output in numbers, we are able to define the problem clearly. When you take things to the top management, when you take the problem to the top management, you must be able to express the problem in numbers. You must be express the problematic output in numbers. Where is the problem? The problem is in the output. The rejections are increasing, the defects are increasing, the variations are increasing. So obviously, the profit, the turnover, customer satisfaction, everything drops down. So that must be expressed in numbers, converted into numerical values. Then only it will be easy to understand. You guys got it? Okay, now measure.
Yes.
What is the purpose of measure, guys? What is the purpose of measure?
Measure
to understand where exactly the problem stands.
Problem.
How much it is.
Okay.
At quality level.
That is
to measure the problem with standards. That this is the standard and where we are with the problem. Like
Number of times occurrence.
KPI, keeping KPI.
Okay, guys, I will give you some information. Generally, in measure phase, we are trying to collect that data. What we are going to do, guys? We are trying to collect that data. Okay, for example, you are a quality inspector. Okay, you are asking your subordinate or sorry, your quality manager. You are asking your subordinates to collect the data. What instructions will you give to him? What important instruction will you give it to him?
So we will inform them to collect the data and compare the collected data with the benchmark of the industry or benchmark of the standard.
Okay.
And we will make
right that is after collecting
exactly.
the data. That is after collecting the data. Before collecting the data,
yes.
Data should be real-time data.
The data should be
Real-time.
Real time. Okay.
Yeah.
Any negative instructions?
We should have sufficient data basically to measure the things.
For that only you are going to collect the data. So what important instruction will you give it to your subordinate before you send him to collect the data? Maybe in a survey or in a field. Sorry?
Yeah,
yes,
we have to give the frequency.
Yeah.
This much frequency we have to collect the data.
Okay.
To collect the data around the
Maybe-
problem, not beyond the problem. If there is a
Maybe we
problem
should use
in
Sample size.
if there is a problem, then you have to
Frequency.
collect the data of that problem only, not other things.
Maybe we should
Anything
give
else?
questionnaire to the people. What should we collect? What necessary data should be there?
Anything else apart from that? See, what
There is,
negative
what
instruction
is,
will you give? I am giving a hint, right? What negative instruction will you give before collecting before asking you to collect the data?
There should be no bias
check data.
between collection the data.
If you make it a simple layman's term,
Defect data.
Fault data.
all data.
Defect data.
Data should not be forged data.
Data should not be false. Then it
False.
must not. It must. Okay.
Truthfully,
Then it
you have to
must.
collect the data.
Okay. How can you rephrase it? Fault in simple terms.
Actual data.
Fault in simple terms. You must collect the data without fault. That means you must collect the data without
Defectives and defect, the thing which you need to check on.
Accurate data.
guys. You must collect data without errors. Right?
Accurate.
Yes.
Yeah, accurate
Right.
data. Like without errors.
So here we are not trying to collect data accurately. We are trying to collect data without errors. Why is that so important? Because if your data has errors, it will have a great impact. We are going to see what impact that will have in your process, guys. If you collect data with errors, what it will have? What kind of impact it will have? We will see in the coming slides.
Will not solve the problem.
We will see in the coming sessions. Don't worry. Okay. So next analyze. In the analyze phase, we are trying to find out the reasons for the problem. Okay, we are trying to find out the reasons, root cause for the particular problems. Here the root cause is defined as X. Okay, so the defined phase, we are trying to find out whether the problem is actually existing. By expressing it in numbers, by quantifying it, we are able to confirm it. Then you are going to collect the data. Okay, before collecting the data, ensure that the data is collected without errors, without fault. Okay, then only the data will be reliable. Only the data will be reliable. See, for example, a person is going to a doctor. The doctor is asking for symptoms, and he's saying some symptoms, and the doctor is asking to take a blood test. Suppose if the particular lab technician, if he is collecting the data with errors and is giving a wrong report, what conclusion the doctor will come to? He will come to a wrong conclusion, right?
Yes.
So we have to ensure that the data which which collected from your process is without any errors. It may be anything. Maybe the number of patients coming in, or it may be the number of rejections or defects or production rate or anything, inventory or logistics or supply chain, whatever it may be. You must ensure that data is collected without errors. Then you have to find out the reason for the particular drop in Y. See, Y is the problem. Your outcome is the problem nowadays. Y is having a poor outcome because the rejections are more or the defects are more, whatever it may be. Find out the reasons using the analyze phase. So in the analyze phase only, you are trying to find out the reasons, the root cause for the particular problem. Here the root cause is mentioned as X. Okay, then in the improve phase, you are going to find out the solution for the particular root cause. Okay, so this is a problem, guys. So this is a reason for the problem. This is a root cause for the problem. So we are trying to find out the solution for this particular root cause. Then in the control phase, we want to sustain the improvement. Here you have implemented the solution, and because of the solution, you have achieved some improvement in your process. So what you have to do is you want to sustain that improvement for long period. So that is what you are going to do it in the control. So monitor and control so that the root cause doesn't comes again and creates a similar problem. Guys, do you get this? So in the improve phase, you are trying to find the solution and implement that solution in your process and eliminate that root cause. And again, in the control phase, we want to ensure that the solution is successful for a long period, and that too, okay, how you can ensure that the solution is successful for a long period? By suppressing, by reducing, by eliminating the root cause. So in order to do that, you have to regularly monitor the process, and whenever the root cause arises, you have to implement certain short corrective measures to control it. Okay, that is what we are doing in the control. So this is the entire Six Sigma problem solving methodology. Okay, the 5 phases. Okay, so guys, this DMAC is for existing or operational process, not for new product development or product design stage. Okay, guys, do you get it? Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Any questions?
Got it.
Any questions?
No.
No, sir.
Okay, we are going to see here. Okay, so the Six Sigma has 5 phases. Six Sigma methodology, the DMAC methodology has 5 phases. Every phase has 3 steps. Every phase has 3 steps. First, we are going to look into the define phase. What are the 3 steps in the define phase? First, you have to generate the project ideas. What you have to do, guys? First, you have to generate the project ideas. Not to generate project ideas. Then, once you generate the project ideas, you have to select the project. How to select, we will see. Then you have to finalize the project chart. Okay. So listen. See, all of you know about this Albert Einstein. He once said, if I had 60 minutes to solve a problem and my life depends on it, in spite of that, I will spend 55 minutes to define the problem. What does it mean, guys? See, if he was given 60 minutes to solve a problem, and if he doesn't solve the problem in 60 minutes, his life will be taken. In spite of that fact, he will spend 55 minutes to define the problem. What does it indicate? If you are able to identify the core of the problem correctly, finding the solution is always easier. Okay. Finding the solution is always easier. So you have to spend sufficient time in the define, measure, and analyze phase. You have to spend sufficient time in define, measure, and analyze phase. Okay, guys, did you get it? That is what we are trying to do. So out of the entire training program, most of the time will be spent on define, measure, and analyze. that comprises the entire problem phase. Okay, in the define, measure, and analyze phase, we are going to deal with the problem alone. We doesn't think about the solution. Okay. So what are the tools we are using in the define phase? See, first, in the define phase, we are going to use the VOC. What is VOC, guys?
Voice
Voice
of
of
customer.
customer.
Voice of customer, sir.
Voice of
Voice
the
of
customer.
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 Voice of
Voice
customer.
of the, yes, okay, voice of the customer. Okay, what form will be the voice of the customer? Voice of the customer will be clear, or how it will be?
It may be a complaint.
It will be
Complaint.
verbal.
Customer complaints.
It will be vague.
Requirement of the customer.
Okay, it will be a complaint.
It is an unstructured data.
He said surveys.
Or customer requirements.
So what is the
Requirements.
customer expectations?
Yes.
Okay. The voice of the customer will be always an expression, command, a warranty claim, a guarantee claim, a complaint, a call regarding the poor quality. So normally the voice of the customer will be in the form of an unstructured or non-quantifiable or qualitative data. See, no customer doesn't call the company to appreciate it. How many times did you call any customer service to appreciate the service? Do you remember any such instance in your life?
No.
None of you did that. None of us did that, right? Including me.
Right.
Nobody used to do that, right?
Yes.
See, how many times we called any bank to appreciate that you are doing well? No. Right? Suppose if there is a problem in the credit card statement, what we will do?
Call the customer care.
Call the customer. So whenever the customer calls, it is always about
Complaints.
it is always about complaints. So that is what VOC is about. VOC is about the voice of the customer. Voice of the customer is the first and foremost area where you can identify the problems. The customer calls regularly. There is a regular, not a customer. The customers are calling regularly regarding some specific issues in a component or a service or in a product. Okay, for a long term. Then obviously it is an alarm, it is an indication that a process is having some kind of chronic issue that is connected with the effectiveness, that is connected with defects, that is connected with the rejections, which has to be given immediate care. Somewhere care has to be, something has to be done to rectify it. Okay, so voice of the customer is the first and foremost important format where you can identify the problem. Okay, the voice of customer generally can be obtained through two ways. One is reactive, another one is proactive. What is reactive, guys? What is reactive?
Post the problem occurs.
See, for example, you give a service to the customer. You give a SIM card to the customer. After giving the SIM card to the customer, you forgot the customer. Then the customer calls you and blasts that the SIM card is not activated. So that is reactive. Customer calls you. After there is a problem. You gave the SIM card to the customer. You call the customer regularly or every day and check whether it is activated. Okay. And if you call him, the customer will say some problem. The SIM card is having some issues, it is not connecting, it is not something. Then you can convince the customer so he will activate it for behalf of you. So that is proactive. Call the customer even before he calls you. Okay, so that the customer voice doesn't come as a complaint, but as a service request, something more pacified. So the voice of the customer can be collected in terms of either reactive or proactive. Reactive means customer comes to your end after he gets some problem with your product or the service. Okay. That is called the reactive voice of customer. But the reactive voice of customer will be always a harsh one, it will be a tough one. Okay. It's always not a better one. So it is always best if you go and collect the voice of the customer in a proactive manner. Okay, so, sorry. So actually, I have some slides about that. That is why I was trying to. Okay, so the reactive voice of customer is always a harsh one, a bit of tough one. So it is better if you arrange to have a proactive system in your process, in your organization, so that the voice of the customer is collected in a proactive manner, so that the customer is maintained in a much cool, non-irritational stage. Okay, so I'm looking for another slide which will help you to understand it more. Define. Yes, define. Get that for you. Just a minute. Here it is. So this is the reactive type of system. Okay, reactive and proactive. Okay, so even before the customer comes to you, okay, you go to the customer end and gather the information. So nowadays, most of the organization, they tend to have this kind of service. Most of the organization, they tend to have this kind of service. So always it is better you have this kind of service in your process. Okay, guys, so any questions from this?
No.
So this reactive voice of customer is very important. Don't plan for reactive voice of customer. Always go for a proactive voice of customer. Okay, now then comes about the.
See, actually, there are many ways of reactive and proactive services. There are many ways of reactive and proactive services. I don't want to give you too much into all those things because you'll be learning that. See, I can give you some of it. Like when it comes to reactive, you know these things, right? Problem calls, customer service calls, technical support calls, credit card or sales reporting or product return information, warranty calls, web page inactivity calls. See, all these are reactive system, elements of reactive system. When it comes to proactive system, you can say interviews connected from before customer calls you, and surveys, sales visits, sales calls, marketing research. All these things are a part of proactive system. Okay. Okay, now VOC is one of the ways to collect the voice of the customer. VOC is one of the ways to collect the voice of the customer. Then comes the VOB. What is VOB, guys? Voice of the business. Not
The voice of
voice
the
of the
business.
business.
Yeah.
Yes, voice of the business. Not only does customer has problem, the process is also having problem. The process is also having problem. So on. So the organization is also having problems.
You will be the doorway for you all to get into your groups. So, like that.
Okay, so the VOB, voice of the business. The voice of business is a problem which is existing within the organizations. Not only does the customer has problem, it is also the organizations which have problems. See, for example, say in 2022, I got a data from the Times of India. The attrition rate for 5 companies, for top 5 companies. The attrition rate for top 5 companies, for example, say for Infosys, TCS, Wipro, CTS was around different percentages. And the percentage of attrition for CTS was 15%. The total employee strength was around 2,69,000. So what will be the turnover of employees every year? Anybody? 15% of 2,69,000.
Almost 39,000.
Yes, imagine 39,000 people exiting the company every year. So what impact will the organization have? It will have a tremendous pressure on the organizational projects, growth, revenue, the new project acquisition, right? Is that no, guys?
Yes.
So that is the voice of the business. The organization is having a lot of problem. Okay, so not only the customer has issues, guys. Every department, every problem has every organizational department has problem. Every internal division has problem. If you go and ask your division heads, they will have a lot of problems. They are crying it out, man. Nobody is asking them what is the problem in your department. They say identify sort it by yourself. Nobody cares. Okay, so that is a lot of problems are existing within ourselves. So that is also one of the main sources of identifying the voice. That is one of the main source of the problems. Okay, so voice of customer is an external source of identifying the problem which is existing in the company. Voice of business is an internal source of identifying the problems which is inside the company. Obviously, both are problems. So both are having some impact in the organizational growth in the process. So it is our responsibility to identify it and to rectify it. Okay. Then comes the cost of poor quality, guys. What is the cost of poor quality? What is this cost of poor quality? See, this cost of poor quality comes under the head called cost of quality. What is cost of quality? See, for example, you people are investing your time, effort, money, energy on this program. Under what quality does it comes, guys? You are investing, right? So it comes under the cost. And under what cost does it comes? Cost of good quality or cost of bad quality?
Of good quality.
Good quality.
Yes, you are investing, guys.
So
Yes,
return of investment, ROI.
No, it is not return on investment. See, see, quality doesn't comes free. You are investing in this program. You are paying for this program. Why? Because you want to improve the quality of your career. You may like to improve the quality of your process in your company. You may like to get higher promotions or good hike in your salary. So you are investing in some good quality process to improve your career. It may not happen immediately. Okay, so that is called some appraisal cost. Okay, so you are investing in quality. That is called cost of quality. Even in your company, you are doing a lot of audits, you are doing a lot of maintenance, you are doing a lot of training, you are doing a lot of planning activities. You are investing in different standards, ISO, PPM, so many standards. Whether any of this is free, guys? Whether any of this is free?
No, no.
Everything is costlier, right?
Cost. Yes.
So, but in spite of this, the company is following it, right? That is called cost of quality. That is called cost of quality. So all the investment which you people are doing and your company is doing to improve the career, to prevent the defects, is called cost of quality. Okay. It is called cost of quality. Then, for example, you are doing a lot of inspection in your process. It may be third-party audit or internal audit. See, these are all appraisal costs. Suppose if you are using instruments, you may be calibrating that. These are all calibration costs, auditing, calibration, third-party visits, training, safety trainings, process training, induction training, process training. So many trainings. Cost is used just like water. Okay, for maintaining, sustaining, improving the quality. All this comes under cost of good quality. Okay, now let us speak about bad quality. What is bad quality? In bad quality, we have two categories, guys. One is cost of bad quality internal. What is cost of bad quality internal? For example, suppose you are a quality inspector. You are a quality inspector. Okay, you are identifying some problem in a product or in the process which is in existing. What will you do? You will recommend for a rework. You will ask to correct it. Okay, or sometimes you can reject the product and it is a scrap. This is called internal failure, cost of poor quality, because a poor quality product was identified inside the process within your company, within your organization. A bank is conducting bank manager is doing as a surprise audit. He is finding some wrong entry in a customer book. So he asked the teller to correct it. Internal failure. What is the loss to the company because of internal failure? Some rework, some rejections, downtime, additional inventory cost, some repeated reworks. So this is internal failure cost. What about cost of poor quality external failure? It is a gravest one. Suppose a poor quality product goes to the customer end. A wrong entry is identified by the customer. Customer comes to the bank and blasts everybody. He even files a case in the court. A wrong product delivered to the customer. Customer gives a TV interview, media. Okay, so many such things have happened in the past. So cost of poor quality is a cost of poor quality external failure is a grave mistake. Okay, the loss which may happen.
Electric vehicles getting fire. It is posted in
Yes,
media.
obviously. Yeah, see, what is the impact? You don't purchase some that kind of electrical vehicle in the future, right, Mazur? You will avoid.
Sure, yes.
You will avoid that. Okay, so this is the impact of cost of poor quality, guys. This is the impact of cost of poor quality. So you can see this is what is visible, but obviously this is what will be invisible, which we forgot to see. Okay, it may be in different format. It may be in the different format. Okay. See, this cost of poor quality loss has not been estimated so far. Has not been estimated so far. Okay, has not been estimated so far. I will play a video regarding this cost of poor quality external failure so that you will understand the impact. Stop. Okay, I will share this sound so that you can hear this audio.
One of the most important ways.
Guys, are you able to hear the audio?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
One of the most important ways to realize our vision of becoming the power base for sustainable growth and development is to embrace, integrate, and entrench quality in all phases of our project lifecycle.
Engines throttling up, 3 engines now at 104%.
Challenger, go with throttle up.
Looking very carefully at the situation. Obviously a major malfunction.
Nancy and I are dame to the core of the tragedy of the Shuttle Challenge. This is truly a national loss.
I am deeply sorry for any accident that Toyota drivers have experienced.
They potentially had the best answers, so I know whose ass to kick.
Quality is like our health. We tend to take it for granted and only notice it when it fails. As we have seen, it only takes one small error to have a massive disaster. Let me thank you for embracing quality and for doing everything in your power to ensure that here at ESCOM, quality comes first and that it becomes a way of life and work.
Okay, guys, so what do you understand from this? The cost of external failure, is unestimable, right? The cost of external failure is unestimable. Nobody can calculate what will be the cost of external failure. It may look like 4 to 5% for normal people, but actually it is going to affect you in longer terms. Okay, so Nobody has find out what is the loss of external failures so far. Okay, so there are many stories all around the world which can give you a lot of information. So the source of problem identification for Six Sigma lies on these three methods. One is VOC, lies on these three tools. One is VOC, one is VOB, and COPQ. See, if a customer comes with a claim, it is not just a claim. It may be a chronic problem, which can be a part of your Six Sigma project. It can be a Six Sigma methodology project. Okay, that is how it should be approached. If it is existing for long term, that is how it should be approached. Okay, so this VOC, VOB, and COPQ are the three ways where you can identify the project. Okay, once you have identified the project, you have to select the project. How will you select the project? You have to use a Pareto. Pareto is a way of prioritizing the problems, which is most important. See, now these three ways, VOC, VOB, and COPQ, helps you to list out a lot of problems. Which problem I have to choose? Which problem I have to select? Go ahead and select the problem which is having most priority, which is going to have, if you resolve that problem, it may have a higher impact in your organizational growth. You have to select a project like that. So select a project, select a problem in such a way that if you take it up and resolve it, it will have an impact in the organizational growth and long-term strategy, long-term achievement. You have to select a project like that. To help that, Pareto will help you. Okay, Pareto chart is going to help you to achieve that. Then finally, you go ahead and convert that into a report. You go ahead and convert that into a report. That is called project charter. That is called project charter. The project charter will have all informations like the business case, the problem statement, the team members, the timeline, the goal statement, the scope statement. We are going to learn that in detail from the next week. Okay, so I'm just giving an introduction. So in the define phase, you are going to identify the problems which should be resolved using Six Sigma methodology by three ways. One is VOC, VOB, and COPQ. Okay, then you are going to shortlist by using Pareto plot. Once you have selected using Pareto plot, you convert that into a report. That report is called the project charter. That report is called the project charter. That report is called the project charter. The project charter will be having 6 components. Okay, you will be learning that. No need to worry. For example, business case, problem statement, scope statement, goal statement, project timeline, project team members. Okay, so remaining tools you will be learning according to your scope. For example, green belt will be learning a lot of things. Black will be learning more. Master black will be learning everything. So QFD, Ocean-X matrix, project prioritization matrix, every tools have their scope and their impact in the process. So these are the tools which will help you to, okay, identify the project, convert that into a report, and you have to submit that project charter to the top management, and the top management must sign it. Then only it is called a authorized project report. Then only it is called a valid project charter. Without a valid project charter, without an approved project charter, don't progress with the project. That is a very strong instruction. Without a signed project charter, don't proceed with the Six Sigma methodology project. Very simple. Okay, guys. So that is all about the define phase. So remember, in define phase, VOC, VOB, COPQ, Pareto plot. If Pareto plot, if you find it not conclusive, use project prioritization matrix. Okay, then you can go for project chart. That's it. Okay, guys. So if you have any questions, if you have any questions regarding this, or we will go for a break and join after 15 minutes. Yes, guys. What's the question?
Sir, this remaining SIPOC brainstorming, all these are techniques to be followed one by one, or
these are all simple. SIPOC
that is the option
SIPOC.
whether to choose these things in such and such case.
Actually, these are all tools which are available. SIPOC is supplier input process output control. It will help you to understand what are the various activities in the process. SIPOC, supplier input process output control. Then
We will
RAC
study
is
about
the,
we will study about all these
these
tools.
are, yes, these are all tools and techniques. You are going to learn them one by one. Okay, you are going to learn them one by one in the coming days. You are going to learn define process for half a day, measure for half a day, analyze for half a day. So in that time, you'll be learning how to use all these tools.
Okay,
okay, guys.
Is sir, there, one
so now
question.
you can, yeah, please.
Is there
Sir,
any relation
Pareto.
between the two? Oh my gosh, sorry.
Hello.
Please go ahead.
Sir, Pareto plot, Pareto diagram is 80-20 rule. 80% data, 20% is
same thing. Yes, same thing. You are going to learn it in detail. Yes.
Yeah. So, sir, you will teach us in details that one by one in future, or how, sir? Or
Yes,
just
next week you are going to learn the define completely with most of the tools.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Yes. Jyoti, what is your question?
No, what I'm asking is there any relation between each process between any of them? Just like that, is there any relation between
Yes,
Pareto
there
plot
is
and
actually yeast phase. Yes, all tools are used in different steps. You have 3 steps in define phase, right?
Okay.
Yeah, all these steps will be using different tools.
Okay.
Okay. For that only we are going to use it.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, guys, now we will go for a break and we will join after 15 minutes. The time is exactly around 8:30. So we will join by 8:45 and we will have the remaining discussion. Okay, guys?
Okay.
Take a break.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.